All right, Mr. Trutna here. There I am, see? Upside down. Mr. Trutna. Today is National Dictionary Day, October the 16th, 2019. It is 2:53 p.m. and we're going to go over Unit 5 Worksheet 3. And in this particular video, we are going to be focusing on all the problems that have to do with rhombuses. Previous video, we worked on the problems that had to do with rectangles. All right, so let's dive right in. Starting at number 5. List 3 things that are true about the diagonals of a rhombus. Okay, so I'm going to just list 3 things in the order that we've learned them. So the first thing is the diagonals of a rhombus bisect each other. All right, and we got that bit. That is called a property, by the way. And we got that property because a rhombus is a parallelogram. And if a shape is a parallelogram and a rhombus is a special kind of parallelogram, the diagonals bisect each other. That means both diagonals cut each other into 2 equal pieces. Okay, number 2, the second thing about the diagonals are that if a shape is a rhombus, remember we're talking about a rhombus, then the diagonals are perpendicular. Okay, so diagonals are perpendicular. And I will write the symbol for the word perpendicular. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, it means that when the diagonals, right where the 2 diagonals intersect, the perpendicular means that they form 90-degree angles. So this means we form 90-degree angles at the point of intersection. So wherever the 2 diagonals intersect at in a rhombus, you're going to form 90-degree angles. That's called perpendicular. Okay, and then the third thing that is true about the diagonals of a rhombus is that the diagonals bisect each opposite angle. Okay, so that means that the 2 angles that are opposite each other get divided up into 2 equal smaller angles. Okay, so now we're going to go to number 6, 7, 8, and 9, and notice the instructions say, and I'll zoom it in ever so slightly here, find the measures of the numbered angles in each rhombus. So we're working on rhombuses here. Okay, so in number 6, we want to find the measure of angle 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and the only bit of information that we are given is that we have one angle right here, if you notice, is 54 degrees. Okay, so let's focus in first of all on the diagonal. Okay, so according to the third truth about the diagonals of a rhombus, the diagonals bisect each opposite angle. So what does that mean? It means that these 2 angles are the same and these 2 angles are the same. Okay, and since they're opposite angles, that means that they're all equal to each other. So that means that angle 2 and angle 3 both have to be 54 degrees. Okay, so that's how we would have found the measure of angle 2 and the measure of angle 3, 54 degrees. And that angle, which doesn't have any measurement on it, has to be 54 degrees as well. So I'll go ahead and write in 54 on all of these inside or next to all these angles right here. Okay, now I need to find angle 1. Now if I find angle 1, I will know how much angle 4 is, because angle 1 and angle 4 are opposite angles of each other. And since a rhombus is a parallelogram, the opposite angles are equal. And here's how you would do it. You would focus in on this triangle right here, which I'm outlining in green. Okay, we know that the 3 interior angles add up to 180 in a triangle. So to find angle 1, I would add up 54 and 54, that's 108. And then I would subtract 108 from 180. Why 180? Because the 3 angles in a triangle add up to 180. That is 72. So angle 1 is going to be 72, and since angle 4 is opposite of angle 1, angle 4 is going to be 72 degrees as well. Number 7, same concept here. So if you notice in number 7, I have a diagonal right here. This is a diagonal, so what does that mean? Now remember, the diagonals bisect each opposite angle. So that means that that angle, which is 68, will be the same as that angle, so that angle will be 68, and those angles will be the same as angle 2 and angle 3. So therefore, angle 2 and angle 3 both have to be 68 degrees. Okay, and then the next thing that hopefully you notice is that this diagonal, the other diagonal, intersects this diagonal here. So the two diagonals intersect. Okay, the second truth about diagonals in a rhombus is that the diagonals are perpendicular. So that means we form 90-degree angles at the point of intersection. So that means angle 4 has to be 90 degrees. Okay, why is that? Because the diagonals are perpendicular. Angle 4 is 90 degrees, and I will write that in. As a matter of fact, all these angles here are 90 degrees. Okay, so then my last angle I need to find is angle 1. Well, to find angle 1, I'm going to focus in on this triangle right here. And the reason why I'm going to focus in on that triangle right there is, 1, because angle 1 is in that triangle. And secondly, I know that angle is 90, and we already found that angle 2 was 68. So to find angle 1, I'm going to go 90 plus 68. That's 158. And then I'm going to subtract 158 from 180. And whatever that equals, which is 22, that's the measurement of angle 1. Okay, moving on to number 8. We're going to use the same idea here. First of all, let's look at the diagonals. All right, so this diagonal intersects with this diagonal. Where the diagonals intersect in a rhombus, they're perpendicular, so that means angle 2 has to be 90 degrees. Okay, so we now know that angle 2 is 90 degrees. Okay, then
report to the Stanford office. Sierra.
Sorry about that, we got the announcements. Then we have this diagonal running from B to D. Remember, the diagonals bisect each angle, so that means this angle, which is 20, is going to be the same as that angle, so that's 20. And that's going to be the same as that angle, and that's going to be the same as that angle, okay? Now, that didn't help me find angle 1, 3, or 4, but what it did help me find is I can now find angle 1. All right, and I can find angle 1 because angle 1 is one of the 3 inside angles of this triangle right here. 90 and 20 and angle 1 make up that triangle that I outlined in green. So to find angle 1, I'm going to add up 90 and 20. That's 110. And then I'm going to use the triangle angle sum theorem, which says the 3 angles in a triangle add up to 180. So I'm going to subtract 110 from 80, so angle 1 would be 70 degrees. Okay, now once I know angle 1, remember this diagonal from C to A, it bisects both opposite, or each opposite angles. So that means angle 1, which we just found out was 70, is going to be the same as that angle, which will be the same as angle 3 and angle 4. So angle 3 and angle 4 will be the same as angle 1, which is 70 degrees. Okay, hopefully that just makes sense. Moving on to number 9, we have a rhombus here, and we're finding all the numbered angles. So right away, you should notice that we have the diagonals. They intersect each other, so right where they intersect, they're perpendicular. So angle 2 and angle 3 are both going to be 90 degrees. Okay, so that's one of the first things that you should notice in the problem, that we have those 90 degrees here. Now I can find angle 1 and angle 4. How do I do that? Well, remember the diagonals, and we're going to focus in on this diagonal right here, they bisect each opposite angle. So that means this angle is 51, and it's going to be the same as that angle, so angle 4 is 59. I think I said 51, but it's 59. And then those two angles will be the same as these two angles up here because the diagonal bisects each angle. And the angles are equal because they're opposite angles. So angle 1, also 59 degrees. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, the next problem that involved the rhombus is, we're going to turn it over. We're going to go to number 15. Okay, number 15 says, for what value of x is parallelogram WXY a rhombus? Okay, so we have this angle right here, which is 22 degrees. We have this angle right here, which is 2x. I said it backwards, 2x and 22 degrees. Okay, and we want to find the value of x. So to find the value of x, we have to write an equation. So those two angles are equal to each other. Why? Because a diagonal bisects each opposite angle. Okay, so 2x is equal to 22, dividing by 2, we get x is equal to 11. That would be number 15. Okay, the next problem is number 17 that deals with the rhombus, and the instructions say, for what value of x is the figure the given special parallelogram? So number 17, we are told that this shape is a rhombus. Okay, and then we're told that this angle right here is represented by 2x minus 1, this expression. This angle right here, which is bigger than that angle, so we can't say they're equal to each other, is represented by 4x plus 28. Okay, so now we need to find the value of x. So we're going to have to write an equation in order to find the value of x. So what's the equation? Okay, so here's how you want to think about this. Okay, this angle right here, which is 4x plus 28, and this entire angle, those two angles are consecutive angles, okay? And remember, consecutive angles in a parallelogram, and a rhombus is just a special kind of parallelogram, are supplementary. So that means this entire angle, which is not 2x minus 1, it's a 2x minus 1 and another 2x minus 1. So that entire angle is 2x minus 1s. When I add it to that angle that it's consecutive with, 4x plus 28, those two angles have to be supplementary, which means they have to add to equal 180. Okay, and then I solve this equation. Distribute the 2. I get 4x minus 2 plus 4x plus 28 equals 180. Combine the 4x and the 4x together to make 8x. Combine the minus 2, or the negative 2, you can think of it, with the plus 28 to make plus 26. Then we get 8x plus 26 equals 180. Then we subtract 26 from both sides of the equation. Then we get, I'll move over here, we get 8x is equal to 154. Then we divide both sides by 8. 8's cancel out. X is equal to, oh man, let's see, do I need a calculator for this? I think I do. How many times does 8 go into 154? Hold on, I'm getting my phone out right now. 154 divided by 8, 19.25. So x is going to be 19.25. Okay, so that's how you would have solved number 17. The next problem that deals with the rhombus is number 21. So in number 21, we have a diagonal right here. I'll outline it in green. And remember, so what does a diagonal do in a rhombus? Well, it bisects the angle. It actually bisects both of the opposite angles. So bisect means it cuts it into two equal smaller angles. So that means to solve for x, we would say 3x minus 2, that smaller angle, is equal to that smaller angle, which is represented by 2x plus 16. Solve this equation out using algebra to find the value of x. Subtract 2x's from both sides. Oh, there go the lights. Sorry. Boom, there go the lights. 3x minus 2x is x. Minus 2 is equal to 16. Add 2 to both sides. X is equal to 18. There's number 21. Last problem involving a rhombus would be number 23 right here. Okay, and so what we notice is we have a diagonal and we have another diagonal. So what happens right where the two diagonals intersect? They're perpendicular. That means 90-degree angles are formed. And actually all four of those angles are 90 degrees, but I'm just going to mark that angle as 90. Okay, and then I'm to solve for x, I'm going to focus in on this triangle right here. Why am I going to focus in on that triangle that I just outlined in green? Because the three interior angles of a triangle add up to 180. So that means this angle, 7x minus 5, plus this angle, 2x minus 13, plus this angle, which is 90 because the diagonals are perpendicular. Those three angles make up the interior angles of a triangle, so they add up to 180. So once I get to here to solve for x, I use algebra. Okay, so I'm going to combine the 7x with the positive 2x to make 9x. Then I'm going to combine the negative 5 with the negative 13, that makes negative 18. Then I'm going to combine that with the positive 90, so that makes positive 72. So 9x plus 72 equals 180. Subtract 72 from both sides of the equation. We're using the inverse math operations of adding 72, which is subtracting. 72's cancel each other out. 9x is equal to 108. Divide both sides by 9. X is equal to 12. So there we go. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Smash the like button. I got to get up to like 8,000 followers to make some money off these videos. I got 65 followers. I'm almost there. Have a good day.